why don't you put like $100,000 in right now, and then like we see how much it is at the end of the podcast. Like maybe you.
Let's do 200,000. This bag is worth 6.5 million.
No, that's just bullshit, bro.
This thing right here.
Is that a ledger? This is $6.2 million.
I have 7 of these.
So it's not true what they say, like when they say, like, for example, anyone can trade. Trading is so easy. Is that not true? Like you just like apparently you just put like $1,000 and you're driving a Urus.
Yeah, you know, it's like this Instagram bullshit. But there is a chance that it's all a scam.
They say like Thomas Kralow is a fraud.
I absolutely love this.
I also heard the story that you were almost got a DUI.
I got a jail sentence, yeah. Showed me how much money there is in the world, Ahmed, and I was like, holy the amounts of money out there is insane. I've grew up with just my mother. My father left when I was 2 years old. That's why I ended up pursuing from just retail trading into influencing and marketing, which is the reason why I do all this crazy stuff on Instagram. We raised 10 million from Instagram stories.
What?
10 mil. So many people are sending me messages every day. Thomas, let's go for a coffee. Like, what coffee? Is that coffee gonna make me $1 million? Sometimes when you see the opportunity, regardless of how great and how long and hard you've been working on this one something, if you see something better, jump on it. Sometimes when the market is on your side, you feel like you're printing money. This is what I had in my mind. Whenever I would lose even €5 or dollars of that amount, it didn't feel like $5. It felt like a small part of a Rolls Royce driving away. As Michael Saylor has said, if Bitcoin is not going to be at 0, it's going to be at 1 million. It's a fact. And you know when I buy? Even these days, I still keep buying Bitcoin, but I buy when I'm scared. Like when it's starting to dip, and you're like, oh.
What everyone tells you not to buy.
This is the moment you do.
Welcome back to the show, and thank you for returning back to the channel, the podcast where we talk about self-improvement, success, happiness, personal finance. Today, I'm joined with a very, very special guest. A lot of you may not know him, a lot of you may know him. A guest which has 2.5 million followers across all his social media, almost 500,000 on YouTube, one of the most OG in the finance and the crypto scene before anyone else started coming up. He's a fully self-made entrepreneur and founder of Karlows Capital, which is a huge hedge fund with offices in New York, and he has discovered the most fun way to make $1 billion. Thomas, thank you for being here, brother.
Ahmad, good
Pleasure.
to see you. Thank you very much for the invitation. Very happy to be here.
Yeah. How's it going?
You know, it's going good. Bitcoin could be a bit more expensive, but besides that, it's actually going good.
Do you think we're going to see a correction before the halving or after the halving?
Historically, if you look just at the price performance, a lot of people are saying that there is going to be some correction, but if you look historically, it's not always the case. So short-term perspective is always gambling.
Short-term perspective is always gambling. I like that.
All I care about is what is going to happen in the next 24 months.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
So I should have started by saying, Thomas, could you give a little background, a little overview of your life story, really quick, just a quick summary for those of you who may not know your story, because as much as it looks like, $1 million watches right now, it wasn't always the case for Thomas. He has one of the most difficult childhoods that I've heard. I've heard his story off camera. You guys are about to hear it. It was a mess. Mental problems, drinking problems, women problems. You name the type of problem, Thomas had it.
Yeah.
So it was a story of a lot of misery and a lot of turmoil and a lot of struggle. But I guess that's the recipe of success in today's age most of the time.
Very sure.
A little bit of betrayal, a little bit of struggle, a little bit of PTSD equals big entrepreneur.
A little bit, you forgot ADHD as well.
A little ADHD, yeah. That's the cocktail. It's the formula.
It's true. And, you could say that when you're brought up in a very, good family, rich family that has both parents and they can actually teach their child as to how to perform well, how to not make stupid mistakes that you actually end up wasting your life on and money. And then a lot of people end up giving up because they don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. So I've been through this journey. I grew up with just my mother. My father left when I was 2 years old. He actually donated everything to a church. He became brainwashed by one of those 90s cults.
Interesting.
In 95, 96, back in Riga in Latvia. That's where I was born technically, in Latvia. So, and he gave everything to a church. And my mother, there was a time when she had to actually heat up baby food on a fucking candle. because the house was repossessed already by the company, the church, and they were not paying the utility bill, so the gas and the heating and everything was shut off. So it was a sad time, and my mother had to have a lot of odd jobs to raise me. And then when I was old enough, which was at the age of about 15, she shipped me off to the United States with a little bit of money and with the hopes I'm going to build a better future. So that's why, like, yeah, American dream, yeah, in a way. And that's what I believed. And that's where I grew up, basically, all by myself. At the age of, from the 15 and into my adulthood. And this is where I basically learned how money works, how margin works, and how to actually get something cheaper and make money on it. So after which, I graduated at the age of 19 with a bachelor's degree because I actually skipped my high school because I knew it was the biggest waste of fucking time ever. Just like, again, I don't want to kind of push my views and values onto other people, but like things like military and high school, in my opinion, like as examples, are a big waste of time. So, and then I ended up getting a bachelor's degree and just to actually not even work one day in the field, which was criminal justice and law and pre-law. So it's like legal. So I have legal background in terms of my education. But
and you never worked a day in that field?
Nah, no. Because the reason why I actually was studying law, because my mother, who had no education, and she just thought that lawyers make good money. Yeah. She said, son, lawyers make good money. And I was like,
fact.
Okay, fact. So that's all I knew.
Yeah.
Like the only person whom I trusted was my mother. I had no one else.
Yeah.
So, and then when I had a person who came into my life, who actually became my mentor in the financial space and asset management and trading in general, he taught me and actually told me, because back in the day it wasn't popular to have Instagram and like this kind of stuff. It was all at early inception stages kind of. He showed me how much money there is in the world, Ahmed, and I was like, holy fuck. The amounts of money out there is insane. Yeah. So, and I realized that lawyers are probably not at the bottom, but they are very far off from the top. So that was the moment when I was like, dude, okay, so you just broke my entire life.
Yeah.
That law is shit. So what should I do? And that's how I got into finance.
Interesting. Interesting. I know it's so true. Like the moment you make that realization from like the biggest things that our parents thought were like the most money making are actually the least. Like doctors, and not the least, but as in the least relatively. Like doctors, lawyers, all these kind of like corporate jobs, unless they're like really into finance, like once you're in finance, the whole game is different, you know?
9 out of 10 billionaires made their fortunes in one way of asset management or the other. It's a fact. So it could be real estate. It's something with finance, something with money. So
managing money.
Yeah, that's why I ended up pursuing from just retail trading into influencing and marketing, which is the reason why I do all this crazy stuff on Instagram, is just to attract attention, which later on actually translates into money made, either from different products that we offer. The only law I have in my company is that we need to provide value if we sell something. So it cannot be some bullshit. That's number one, because there is enough bullshit in this world, quite frankly. And number two is when we have enough social capital, we can build the companies that normally only are reserved for the elite, which is, for example, a hedge fund. It was a long route, long path, but I ended up founding Kralow Capital with the power of social media. I told you also off camera, we raised 10 million for one of the financial arms of Kralow Capital for algorithmic retro drop farming, which is a like very deep DeFi thing. But we raised 10 million from Instagram stories.
What?
10 mil.
$10 million from Instagram stories.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And people go out to like these networking events to try to meet people and you're just like posting Instagram stories.
Networking is bullshit.
Networking is bullshit. I agree.
It's bullshit. Like I've been part of big communities and one of the clubs I used to pay like 7,000 euro a year. There are more expensive clubs.
Yeah, but it's like very 7,000 euro.
But it still is not a cheap one.
Yeah.
So, and there are supposedly all these rich people and you're supposed to, you know, if you're an asset manager, this is perfect for you. Fuck. Like, when I was raising those 10 mil, I got those people together. They were in my penthouse. My chef was cooking for them. My driver was driving them in my Maybach back and forth from the airport and the actual event.
Full hospitality.
Full hospitality. And I ended up raising 20,000.
$20,000.
Which I didn't take because I don't fucking need your 20,000.
What'd you do with it? Did you get it back?
No, I declined it. I just said I'm just not onboarding you, motherfucker. Like I'm not interested in this.
Yeah.
And then when we actually because usually with social media, how it works is sometimes you need to warm people up. You need to explain what it is, and then it starts rolling in. You cannot expect to post one story and then it to blow up. You know, so you need to explain, and then we did it for a month, and from stories we did 10 million. This moment I realized that all this networking is such bullshit. There are useful networking places. There are. But 99% of all this Dubai bullshit, yachts, whatever, it's all shit. It's all designed to make money for the person who is barely making those ends meet, who is organizing that shit. So it's just my opinion. This is just my experience.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think there's definitely some truth to it, you know?
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I feel like if you are building something good, the right people naturally will come along, or the people where there's a valid way of business, you will reach out to them, or you will find a way. Like your team would have already reached out to their team, or that kind of stuff you would have already done, or it will happen naturally because you guys are just so much in the right path. Yeah. But most of the time, you go to an event and you take some guy's number. And then you save it. You're like, yeah, we should meet for coffee, and then the coffee never happens. And then you meet at the next event, maybe like 5 years from then.
So many people are sending me messages every day. Thomas, let's go for a coffee. Like, what coffee? Is that coffee gonna make me $1 million? What coffee? You either send me a proposal or fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have time for that shit. You know, it's like these are the grifters who are out there looking for the same grifters who are looking for an opportunity.
Yeah.
Like if
you have
quick
money,
if you have a product. If you are known, you don't need no events. You provide, you produce, you create, you change lives, you do whatever it takes. Do you think Elon Musk is going to some networking events?
No.
It seems like all 100 people that are in a room trying to network are all a bunch of losers who need an opportunity.
Yeah.
So it's like it's counterintuitive.
Interesting.
But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, but it's interesting. I definitely do find it interesting. So just to recap then. So you spent from what I've understood, you spent your time in New York, and then you graduated. At a certain point, you moved to Switzerland.
Yes, exactly.
You were working like in a Swiss bank, or?
No, so I became really good friends thanks to my mother. And again, I'm always happy to just admit to how it was. So in a way, I was lucky to have this opportunity in life to meet a person who actually offered me guidance. But then, in my defense, I can say that any one person in the world has opportunities here and there. The question is, do you take them? This guy told me, listen, move to Switzerland. I'm going to teach you what I know. But the price is, I didn't have to pay him anything. We had a very good relationship. But the price for me was my entire life in the US. My friends, 4 years of college, that was not cheap, and I had to pay for it partially helping my mother because at some point she realized that she overestimated her financial abilities. And I had also problems with alcohol and social life. It was a shit show, honestly. It's like, I don't even want to remember, but it's my story, so it is what it is.
We're going to dive into it.
Yeah. So I had to give up on the entire life. I was preparing for the LSAT test, which is one of the most complicated exams there is in the world. So if you want to go into Ivy League law school, you cannot be just a no one. You have to have papers. You know, you have to be in this bureaucratic matrix machine, you know, showing that I have 3.7 out of 4.0, you know, or whatever. So LSAT, it's one of the most complicated tests, and I spent so much time and money on tutors that normally people would say, listen, I'm too deep into this.
Yeah.
I just cannot steer my ship into abyss. But I did. And this is what it takes. Sometimes when you see the opportunity, regardless of how great and how long and hard you've been working on this one something, if you see something better, fucking jump on it. And that's what people don't do. And then they say, oh, you were lucky. No, I just took the opportunity that I saw. Yeah. But that's just how it was. And it was quite difficult because when I started trading, after spending 6 months in Switzerland, guess what? Wow. I lost money. I started with everything I had was $15,000 because I was hustling. I was buying and selling electronics. I was I had a van where I would pick up furniture given away for free by people in America. It still works.
So smart, yeah.
You go to Craigslist, till this day, there is a section which is called free. And you will find dining sets. They're shit. But if you clean them up, you maybe paint them, maybe you like add some polish to it, whatever, you can actually sell them for $30, $50, and I did it.
Nice.
At the age of, as a teen, I was making the best month I made $8,000.
Wow, that's a lot of money
for a teen who just basically moved to New York with no one.
Nothing. Yeah.
So, which came with drawbacks because I was drinking a lot, you know, because you have no parents around.
Yeah.
You do whatever you
guidance,
want. which led me to alcoholism, and actually I was diagnosed with like grade 2 alcoholism. So because I could drink for like a week, it's insane. People don't believe me, but it's true. But since the age of 22, I'm 29 now, I quit it. So
wow, that must have been a big. And we will talk about the difference as well in your life. But so just to finish the story then. So you spent the 6 months there where you got like one-on-one trading advice and then you ended up losing money. So it's not true what they say, like when they say, like, for example, anyone can trade. Trading is so easy. Is that not true? Like you just apparently you just put like $1,000 and you're driving a Urus.
Yeah, it's like this Instagram bullshit. It's like people showing you my Forex book shit that a child can falsify. It's trading. Let me put it this way: as a person who, I'm not saying I'm the greatest trader investor. By no means, it's not the case. I'm not a bad trader, but currently what makes my hedge fund good and why we perform well is because I also employ people. I employ analysts that are very good, and some of the people I employ are better in trading than me. It's true. But I did make my initial capital in trading. But from that whole experience, when I was on my own and alone with the market, holy shit, it was probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. So sometimes when the market is on your side, you feel like you're printing money. Until it's not. And those people who are into trading, who have tried trading, know exactly what I'm talking about. Because when you get into it, usually you will learn a strategy or two, and you think you know how this shit works because you just know nothing, and you spend 1 week learning from someone, and you feel like, oh, it's so complicated.
Yeah.
But you barely scraped the surface of the iceberg. Barely. There is so many things going into trading. What affects the market and the probabilities of certain moves is incredible. So yeah, it was an interesting journey, but it did give me my initial capital for other stuff.
And then how old were you when you moved to Dubai?
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
So 26.
New York, Switzerland, Dubai.
Basically, in the middle, I also lived in Latvia for a bit of time. This is where I met my wife. Because after I learned about trading and stuff, I didn't go back to US. I wanted to spend some time in Latvia.
With your mom and your...
Yeah. My mom and my grandmother.
And you came back like much richer and like a successful guy. They must have been like, wow, we sent you as a kid.
No, actually not. No.
Oh, no?
No, because when I came back to Latvia, it was in the process where I actually lost money after
mentorship.
After mentorship from a person whom, again, he didn't charge me money for it. I spent 6 months of my life on it. And he made just a few fundamental mistakes. He's like, at this point, he's like 65. At the time, he was like 55. And for him, it was not super easy, but he knew how to do it. And he rarely lost any money because he's been in the market for 30 years. It's easy for him. So, and he thought that he's going to just teach me, show me a few ropes, and there off I go. And I had this mentality that here is my last $15,000 that I had at the age of like 22, like 21, 22, 20. And this was the easiest path from 15K to $1 million. This is what I had in my mind. Whenever I would lose even €5 or dollars of that amount, it didn't feel like $5. It felt like a small part of a Rolls Royce driving away.
You already knew that you were this big guy. You already knew like you were going to be a millionaire.
So whenever you have wrong perception of what to expect and it doesn't go your way, you fuck up so fast.
Yeah,
and you fuck up.
You're a bit
big.
delusional.
You're absolutely delusional. You're crazy. You're at the brink of schizophrenia. I sometimes talk to people who are getting into trading and I sometimes listen to their expectations. I'm like, dude, that's not how it works like at all.
Yeah.
Like,
how much can you make by trading like per year?
Oh, gee, it
Safely.
varies. If you want to do safe, let's put crypto aside because crypto, if you like, even right now, like I'm only crypto at this point, but when you understand market cycles, when you understand liquidity, meaning like money flow of money in general from governments, from institutions, what an ETF means, etc., and you understand where we are at in terms of halving cycles and stuff, then you can make crazy money. You can 5x your deposit in a year. But if we take average, I would say you can count on an average 50% a year. So, but honestly, that's not what people mostly expect, right?
Yeah, because people, they have like $1,000, they put it in trading, they're going to make $500 a year, that's $50 a month approximately. Is they're going to buy any Lamborghini at $50 a month?
That's like the stupidest calculation I've ever heard. They're like, okay, if I can do one trade a day and I can make $20 a day, this means I can make X amount per month, per year. Dude, you're not flipping burgers for a paycheck. I remember my times in trading when I would spend 3 months of hard work, 12 hours a day with panic attacks to lose money.
Yeah.
And this is when you just, it's unbearable. Yeah. But in the defense of trading, there are people who genuinely don't care. There are people who I know these guys, they operate with big capital. They can be working with, let's say, 200 million. They could lose 50 mil. They're like, if I were to lose 50 mil in a month,
You jump off a bridge.
I jump off a fucking bridge, man. Like, honestly. But there are people who genuinely don't care. So for this reason, like, I had also like my mental limitations that I thought I couldn't work with more than $1 million.
Yeah.
It's not a big amount. Like, for some of the viewers, it might like $1 million. Holy shit, you can live 10 lives on $1 million. But in the world of trading and finance and Wall Street, $1 million is a fucking joke. It's nothing. It's zero.
It's like a vacation.
It's a vacation. Yeah. So that being said, for me, it was my psychological limitation, and I realized that actual day trading is not the path to where I want to go to, which is in billions, which is like, because I have this big plan in my life about longevity and correcting this wrong that I think is in the world right now, which is not having the ability to choose when to check out. You know, you can choose what to eat for breakfast, an egg benedict or for a chicken sandwich, but you cannot choose when to die. So, and I think that biotech right now is at the level where within the next 20, 30 years, with the right investments and the right power in this niche, we will have the answers to longevity. Real answer, not this biotech that we have today, like red light, GH, you know, eating well, intermittent fasting.
Cold showers,
yeah,
cold plunges.
Yeah, whatever, and half of the shit is actually bad for you, you know? But, you know, the stuff that you inject plus 10 years, you know, this type of longevity and biotech.
That's coming.
I'm pretty sure it is.
And there's going to be billions to be made there.
Trillions.
Like everything, because like there's no amount of money you wouldn't pay to live an extra 10 years.
Exactly. You know, if you think about it, if, for example, Amazon, you know, they revolutionized the way how they, you know, ship products and, you know, e-commerce and stuff. But, and it's a big thing, you know, people need these things. But I think that any one of them would give up everything for an extra day, for an extra 5 minutes.
You're selling life.
Yes, life and time. So you kind of are playing God in a way. I don't want to say that, but it kind of is the case. But I think that this is not beyond our human capability. And next 10 to 20 years, we must actually focus on that. And that's going to create the next industry. If we have crypto hype, AI hype, next one is going to be time hype. And that's what I want to participate in.
Interesting. Yeah, for me, like obviously as a Muslim, I got to say, like, you know, for me, I don't know too much about this, but you know, the thing is, at the same time, I see where you're coming from in terms of like, if you're revolutionizing the way people do shopping and your company's worth $1 trillion like Amazon, if you revolutionize the way people live their lives and how long they live it for, then you're definitely going to be making a few trillions right there. And
a few enemies.
Yeah, many enemies maybe, yeah. But yeah, so it's very interesting. Coming back to the point then about trading and stuff.
Yeah.
Crypto is definitely back. For those of you watching, you know, I used to interview some crypto people before, but I haven't interviewed anyone in crypto as of recently because it was kind of like bear market. There was no opportunities in crypto. But now that the halving is just around the corner, there are a bunch of opportunities to be made in crypto right now. So let's talk a bit about it then. What are the opportunities right now in crypto? Because now I feel like in the next 3 months, either many people are going to make millions of dollars. I'm seeing like shit coins go up like 50x a day.
Yeah.
I'm seeing like different shit coins here and there, you know. So crypto is back. Money's getting pumped. The Bitcoin ETF got approved. Talk a bit about that.
Yeah.
First time institutional money is going into Bitcoin, crypto, what?
Yeah.
Talk a bit about that and where the future is going. How can the audience listening to this in the next 3 months or 4 months maximize their profits from crypto?
See, in all fairness, I don't want to sound like Cathy Wood or anyone from bullshitter Wall Street who always says, oh, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be great. Just keep buying my products. Just keep buying the ETF. I know that this shit is going to go down, but keep buying it because what? I don't care about your profits. I care about my management fee. I don't want to be like one of those hedge fund managers because Wall Street is full of, like, the entire thing is a sham. In all fairness, the dollar is a sham.
Yeah.
The entire outdated colonial fiat system is a fucking scam. It's a pyramid scheme. So I can get away with this stuff. But overall, you know, when we are talking about what is happening right now in crypto space, to go back to your question, it's either, just in all fairness, I think that it's not very probable, but there is a chance that it's all a scam. That this whole Bitcoin was created by some CIA, NSA, MI6, North Korea, Russia, who the fuck knows? Could it be? I wasn't holding a candle when it was created. I don't know. Just like the Jeffrey Epstein thing, you know? the rabbit hole is deep, my friend. Same thing is Satoshi Nakamoto thing.
Yeah.
I don't believe in no Satoshi. The brain power it took to create something like this, because once I read Bitcoin white paper, I was like, motherfucker, who created this?
Interesting.
It's so complicated to make it work from the first time. There were projects before, but Bitcoin itself, I estimate, because I also have a big team, I employ more than 100 people today. So I understand what it means to have certain capacity within a company to create certain products. So, and when I look at Bitcoin, I understand that a development like this, if one person would take him 5 lifetimes. You
read the whole white paper?
Most of it.
How long is it?
It is pretty. There are different excerpts of it, but if you want to actually have the full information, it's like 100 pages. It is like if you want to have all the details about everything, because there is shortened versions and stuff. But if you want really deep stuff, it's long. It's like reading a Bible when you're not religious. It's a bit it's a bit complicated.
Yeah,
and your brain, like every sentence you read, your brain just goes.
Yeah, because you see like die, day, die. Those weird words, the Roman words, and you're like, what?
It's a lot of pages.
I'm sure he probably used some really big words, or he or they or whoever government made it.
The thing is, in my opinion, it would take minimum of, I'd say, what we estimated just for fun, 50 to 100 skilled IT specialists, 2 to 3 years to put something like this. So, and then you have to ask who has this kind of money power, because it's not cheap. It costs money.
Yeah.
So, and then, we have all this understanding of proprietary rights and the power of Bitcoin and things it solves in the monetary system, which is all true. It really is the greatest wonder of the world. And I am fully bullish on it. But there is this 1% that still there is a chance it's all another tulip. Just in all fairness. But if we are going back to your question, just full disclosure.
No, but it's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to your question, it's as Michael Saylor has said, if Bitcoin is not going to be at 0, it's going to be at 1 million. It's a fact. It's a mathematical fact. And people who are saying, 1 million is impossible. There is so much money in the world. Currently, $950 trillion of wealth, approximately, nobody even knows, quite frankly. And a lot of that is in liquid, like 400 trillion, 500 trillion. So even if we have 10% of the numbers are crazy. So therefore, it is more than possible. But for the current cycle, you're right about the ETF, because if we see daily inflows of minimum around 100 mil, 200 mil, 300 mil per day, and we have already BlackRock holding, 30,000 or 70,000, so a bit less than 100,000.
100,000 what?
Bitcoin.
Oh, wow.
Imagine, daily we have 900 Bitcoin being produced by all global miners. When we have thousands of Bitcoin actually consumed constantly by ETFs alone. And we have Hong Kong ETF coming up. And then FOMO kicking in. And then retail, plus the pivot of the Fed money printing, because guess what? They need to stimulate this dead cat. The cat has been dead since 2008 and the collapse of Lehman Brothers.
Yeah.
And what they have to do is to have fucking inject this piece of dead meat with steroids so it twitches. Like this, literally, it twitches. So this is our economy. It's kind of funny, but it's, when you understand it, it's funny because you can work around it.
Yeah. Since like COVID, I feel like they're raising the interest rates and they're like, they put it back down. And
it's insane.
They don't know what's going on.
People, like, sometimes I speak, because I travel a lot, I speak to people, I understand a sad fact, they're clueless.
Yeah.
They're in their small worlds. They're confined by their own, kind of barriers that they set by themselves, their family, their surrounding, that all of those things don't matter. We're going to trust the government. And the government, they're running like a bunch of beheaded. Have you ever seen a beheaded chicken?
It's running around.
That's what the White House looks like right now with Joe Biden. Don't get me started. I'm apolitical.
Yeah.
But if you go deeper into the rabbit hole and you see how much debt US is occurring daily, per month, like $1 trillion a month, it's fucking insane. If it would have been a business, me, you, credit card, we would have been bankrupt and in jail for tax evasion long ago, my friend.
Yeah.
But the government, the US, and when they're asked about it, do you know what they say? Some of them, they're like, well, we're the US government, we can print all we want, sir. But that's the philosophy.
Yeah.
How far is it going to go? And how soon are we going to see that money coming into something that is not controlled in a centralized way, which is Bitcoin? And whenever we saw collapses of banks like Silicon Valley, also Signature Bank, when they collapsed, there was a lot of new money inflow into Bitcoin. And it was what actually propelled Bitcoin from areas of 20K plus to the levels of 40K, the collapse. So it's happening. And that's why, like, I told people, and I want to show you something. I brought it with me. You were asking me about the opportunities.
Yeah.
The opportunities are every day right now. Certainly, maybe it was not when Bitcoin was at 60K, but when Bitcoin was below 20K, it was the biggest opportunity ever. Are we going to see the same opportunity again? I don't want to make any predictions, but I really doubt it. It would take a very big reason for Bitcoin to crash.
Thomas, I see a lot of your... Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Quickly, I have a question. I see a lot of the comments in your videos.
Yeah.
And I got to address some of them.
Yeah.
They talk about saying stuff like... And I'm trying to say this like in the most respectful way possible.
Sure.
They say like Thomas Kralow is a fraud.
Yeah. Okay.
Like he's just like a guy who chats shit. Like he has like this money tree and like, you know, just fake dollar bills or whatever.
Yeah.
Some marketing videos.
Yeah.
And he's not worth anything. You know, like rented cars. The usual, because this stuff happens. It happens.
Yeah,
We
sure,
cannot
sure.
say it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you if you're really about the money, and maybe even you could prove it in some way.
Yeah. You know,
What do you say to the haters?
Yeah, I absolutely love this because, you know, there are people who, you know, whenever you see this Instagram persona, you will always assume the worst. But I absolutely understand your question and I respect it, so I'll answer it in the best way.
Don't take it the wrong way.
No, but I will answer it in the best way I can. But before I do, I can tell you that, you know, people, when they see something, unfortunately, as we discussed, they don't know what is happening in the economy. Who said that they know what is happening in anybody's life when they don't know what's happening in the economy?
True.
But that being said, you know, for example, my cars have been there for so long. Even if I were renting them, I must be pretty fucking
You'd be
rich.
paying more money, I think, if you rented them for all those years.
Listen, GT3 RS, Aventador, Maybach, Bentley, G-Class now. So that would be a
It's
fortune.
almost like $3 million worth of cars right there.
Like 1 point something, but like that
Yeah.
would be very expensive. But to prove the point, see this bag?
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice bag in of itself, but
Crocodile leather.
yeah, that's the Himalaya. That's the most expensive crocodile there is, and this bag is one of one. But what if I told you that this bag is worth $6.5 million?
No, that's just bullshit, bro. That's bullshit.
No, but Ahmed, really, it is worth 6.5, but not the bag itself. The bag is like a little over 10K. But
yeah, what's inside this bag, bro?
so this thing right here.
Is that a ledger?
Well, I don't know. It's some kind of a USB, yeah, but it does say ledger on it.
So this has a lot of money? Well, I mean, anyone can just pull out this
Well,
and say,
guess,
I have this, I have
how much
this.
is it worth? Like, what do you think?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't think much, to be honest. I mean, I think anyone can like have a small USB.
Do you wanna
pull
see
out. Yeah, let's see it, bro.
Yeah? Okay, fine. I'm ready. I'm prepared. I'll show you.
All right.
So that, you know, we'll put...
You know, people just say like, "Do you want to see how much I have?" And they think people won't ask, but let's ask.
Let's see people actually say it's rental. Let's try. Okay, I'm connecting it. It's very simple.
Let's see how much Thomas Kralow carries around in his USB.
See, it's Dubai. See? Coming up. Let me put it in. Let me put up the app. And everybody who knows what Ledger is, they know that there is no demo accounts in Ledger.
Yeah,
So-
we're gonna make sure you refresh that. Anyway.
Yeah, we will refresh it easy. Okay, so now I'm just putting in this. Okay, I don't
Is
know.
that like a passkey?
Yeah,
Make sure the camera doesn't see it.
I know. No mirrors. Okay, so you ready to see it?
Yeah.
Okay, here it is.
Jesus Christ.
So this right here,
Oh my God.
I don't know if the camera will focus on it.
Yeah, I can see it. This is $6.2 million.
So 6.3 actually.
Yeah, basically $6.3 million.
So and
It
this
says
is
you lost. How much is that red thing?
this is minus $3,000 today.
Shit.
So and actually, if we put it to weekly, week was 65. Let's put
You made $65,000 this week on this one account.
1 month. What
Is
does
this
it
your only account, or do you have like 10 of
No,
these?
I have 7 of these.
7.
This is one of my. This is the one I want
This
to
is the
keep.
one you take around with you.
Yeah, that's my daily expense one.
Can I see this?
Yeah, go ahead. You can actually play around, click around.
Guys, I don't know if you see this. Look at this. I'm holding this guy's laptop right now. He said he has $6.3 million. I'm looking at it right now. This week, he made $1 million alone this week. Do you see that?
1 month. That's
Oh,
the
one
monthly
month.
change.
Okay,
Yeah.
Guys, if you see that, this one account has made for him $1 million in this 1 month, which is crazy. See?
And if as you might know, Ledger, you can actually click synchronize just to make sure it's not fake, that it's not a screenshot. Like people are saying, it's a screenshot, Thomas.
Where is it?
There is up top. Yeah.
I should click it?
Yeah, you can click it. You can click whatever you want on it.
I click whatever I want? I'm just
Yeah.
gonna control. Okay, so it's synchronizing right now. Refreshing.
Yeah, and actually, to prove another point, which is, let me find something on YouTube, and anyone can find it. Anyone can go to YouTube, they can put in Thomas Kralow, and they can put in the word 30 Bitcoin, and actually you will find a video.
Yeah.
Here is the video. It's a year old. This is where I said that I'm buying 30 Bitcoin.
Okay.
Actively yourself, where you have, that's not really a bad thing, is it? This is actually quite positive in my humble opinion, because it's going to open up the roads, the actual framework for things like spot ETF in the United States.
So I'm just basically discussing as to why I'm doing it, but
into crypto asset.
I just bought, so you uploaded this 1 year ago. I just bought 30 Bitcoin. Crazy or genius? And then you go on to explain why you did it.
yes.
Basically.
So that's a 1 year old video. It's out there. Anyone can check it. And this was when FTX was collapsing, when Sam Bankman-Fried just came out and said, guys, we are done.
This is what you're talking about in the video.
Yeah, and Bitcoin went down to 15K. And this is also, the camera won't see it, but right here, there is $4 million and also 39 Bitcoin,
Yeah.
which is worth currently 1.7 million.
Wow.
And I bought in video, I bought like 30 something Bitcoin, and then I bought a few more the same day.
Yeah.
So this was actually the amount I bought on that day.
On that same day.
And I spent 500 something thousand, which is currently worth 1.7 million. So this is one trade right here, which made me 1.2 million.
Guys, do you see that? If you see here, he has in Bitcoin right now 1.7 billion, approximately.
And considering, and just to, in all fairness, this is...
And you literally put it out there for anyone to copy you.
Yes, and you know what people told me? They told me I'm crazy. They told me Bitcoin is going to 10,000, 5,000, 3,000, 1,000.
Wow.
And I was like, guys, because of all the things we see, how we analyze the market, what we see in general, we see that it is just so undervalued.
Oh my God. Guys, if you go on 1 year here, it says $6 million in 1 year.
So this is basically because this is when I started this account.
Ah, okay.
So this is like basically, 6 million in a year in this account, yeah. And this is one ledger. This is the most fun one. This is the most prominent ledger that I have, not in terms of the amount, but in terms of what it actually holds.
Yeah,
because
that's the craziest
in 3 years, trust me, this right here will be worth at least 8 million in Bitcoin alone, in Bitcoin. So if you consider this, and then this is gonna just become, one of those. You might know Da Vinci.
Yeah.
So a great friend
He
of
has the
mine.
video, yes, buy Bitcoin, it's $1.
$1. So, and I'm gonna be the guy who told you to buy at 17K. And I made a video about it, and here is proof. Even this podcast, I'm still holding the same. I have more Bitcoin, but these are the Bitcoin I made publicly and bought them publicly.
Yeah.
So, and I told everyone this is the time to buy. And actually, here I use the simplest strategy there is. And that strategy is what also Warren Buffett says. You buy when there is blood on the streets. And I felt like when I buy, even these days, I still keep buying Bitcoin, but I buy when I'm scared. Like when it's starting to dip, and you're like, oh,
What everyone tells you not to buy.
this is the moment you do. And this is the moment you make millions.
Interesting.
So, and that's the
So
thing.
that you didn't use any like Head and Shoulders or any technical analysis.
No,
or
I don't give a shit. Like
just
all these
buy when there's blood on the streets.
Yeah, for a long term. If you
Yeah.
want to just do day trades, like I also post all of my trades on YouTube. Like last year I did 300K in just quick day trading
I have a
type of
fun
thing.
experiment if you're down.
Yeah, sure.
Okay? If you're down, what if we were to put like right now, like you have 6.3 million here in the joke account. Why don't you put like $100,000 in Bitcoin right now? And then like we see how much it is at the end of the podcast. Like maybe you
Let's do
you
200,000.
200,000.
Why not? Let's do 250.
Okay. Guys, he's about to put $250,000 in Bitcoin right now. Like,
For this, let's go
can you
to.
screen record your screen?
Let me check. Yes, I can do that. We can. For this, because directly from Ledger, it's a terrible. I think you can buy it directly because it's a hardware wallet. We can do it from an exchange. I usually don't keep much on exchanges, but for purposes of active trading, I keep usually up to $1 million. So let's see what I have in the exchange. Let me record. And
Guys, we're about to do a bit of experiment. Thomas, every few hours, every like 2 hours, 1 hour, he puts like 100 US in Bitcoin.
okay, so we're starting with 100.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with 100.
Okay, let's start with 100. I'm scared, bro. 250 is a lot of money. So he's gonna put $100,000 in Bitcoin right now, and we're gonna see how much it is by the end of this podcast.
Yeah.
And if by the end of this podcast he's probably made if he made like a good amount of money, I'm gonna be like, why didn't I just put like money in as well?
So I have in my section we have 400 to play with.
Okay,
So
400 in one of his trading accounts.
yeah, so that's one of that's just the one I use for YouTube mostly. Okay, let's go. I'm recording the screen. Yeah, I'm recording the screen. So let's go to.
He's about to buy $100,000 worth of Bitcoin right now.
Let's go to trade USDT. Let's buy. What market? Who cares about the commission? $100,000.
Wait, can we show the camera?
Yeah, we can. Let me disconnect this. And you can do it yourself. You just market. Yeah, you just click press. You just click the green buy Bitcoin.
I'm nervous, bro.
Don't be nervous. It's only 100K.
Boom, is it done?
I don't know.
It's done.
Okay, let's see. But in any case, when you're just doing regular investing, it's easy because in case if it goes down short term.
You believe in Bitcoin long
Because
term anyways.
yeah, because I've been buying. Let me check. Yeah, so you bought actually 2.33 Bitcoin.
Okay.
So because I've been buying, I bought Bitcoin at 40K. I bought Bitcoin at 35, 30, 25.
Is it gonna show us how much it made by the end of the podcast?
Yes, sure, of course, yeah. So right now it is worth $99,917.
But just by looking at the chart right now, do you have a prediction on whether it's gonna be in profit or not? Give a prediction.
Right now, actually, it is absolutely side movish. So my prediction is that actually it's going to move to the side because right now we have nothing happening. Because right now, especially with this whole sell the news of the ETF is over. So grayscale is also ramping down. So the market is indecisive. What we're waiting for is this narrative of the ETF, of the halving, which is coming up.
Yeah.
And the
That's
market
the
wants
next
to
big event.
see. Yeah. So therefore, there might be a dump before it or after, but there might not be. But let's see as an experiment what happens by the end. Maybe. If it goes good, maybe we'll buy another 100,000.
No, if it goes good, you should sell it. I don't really want this.
Okay,
So,
if it
so
goes
at least
good-
we ended the video with a profit.
Okay. So far we are down $25, but it's going up. Nice. Okay, we'll just keep it here.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, bro, you just showed us a bunch of money. And everyone can see that you have money. But I want to ask you,
Yeah.
someone's watching this video, would you be down to do like a little giveaway for someone watching this video?
You know, you know what? Let's put into the description or whatever, in the pinned comment or something. Let's put a link
Okay.
to a video, to a resource I'm gonna create
Okay.
for people to learn how to actually start from nowhere, from nothing, in trading and finance in general, and to get to at least 10K a month on average. Again, there is sometimes downs, ups, but on average 10K a month.
Okay.
So let's do that. So I think that this would be the best gift.
Better than giving them because you'd rather learn how to fish than just get a fish.
Yeah, okay, what's the point of the fish? That's the thing, It's like one of the projects we're working on as well. I realized that, I've done also a lot of charitable work, and we've been helping kids in orphanages in Eastern Europe, in Latvia in particular, and it was very sad to see kids who send letters to Santa Claus and they have no one to be a Santa Claus for them. It did tear my heart, and it still tears my heart. But what I do understand is that when you give even a hungry person something, it doesn't solve their problem. It gives them a short-term solution, but it doesn't solve the problem.
cause.
Yes. So that's why we're working on a product right now that I'm investing millions of dollars into myself. I don't know if it's going to work out, but it is going to be something huge, which is going to actually be similar to what we're doing here by providing people value and information as to how they can actually achieve something on their own and be self-sufficient. So, so if you guys want a special gift,
Check
Ahmad
the
will,
check the description, guys.
Yeah,
Thomas
yeah.
gonna make a special video for you guys.
So the
Free
thing-
video.
Free. No sales. Free,
No
absolutely
charge.
free.
No
So-
credit card information to watch the video.
No.
Okay.
So and I see, because with the money in general, in marketing, everything is marketing.
Yeah.
Everything like Bitcoin, like the cameras that are being filmed here that we use for filming, and anything at McDonald's. It's everything is marketing. But at the end of the day, what actually matters the most is the human interaction. Because what a lot of companies, even hedge funds, and on Wall Street, when I brought up Kathy Wood, I don't have a beef with her or anyone. Everybody does what they want. But it's just for me, when you don't provide value, even in certain parts of market cycles, marketing doesn't matter. You're a piece of shit. So let's not be a piece of shit. Let's give something to people. So,
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I want to talk a bit about then like you as a person.
Yeah.
Now that we finished some advice you have in terms of the crypto markets, you as a person, Thomas, you said that you told me a few crazy stories. So I just wanna I'm gonna leave 3 topics and then you can start whichever story you want. But
Yeah.
I know one story is that you were first like basically kind of business in Dubai. You went trying to go into real estate like everyone else when they see Dubai, and then you kind of got scammed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want to know that story about how you got scammed with real estate here, and then I want to know the story about. I also heard the story that you were almost got a DUI, driving under the influence.
Not almost. I did.
Oh, you did. Okay, so I want to know the story of that. If I don't know if you served time or not, because I know that's
I
a
was
huge
supposed
felony.
to. I got a jail sentence. Yeah.
You got jail sentence. Oh my god. Okay, so that, and then also you told me that you didn't always have the best relationship with your mom. I want to know about like how that kind of
Yeah.
that upbringing of the troubled childhood,
Yeah.
where the problem stemmed from, and how that led you to the person you are today.
Yeah, very good topics. Let's just start with the same order, I guess.
Okay.
I'll leave the best for the last. When it comes to Dubai, it's like a lot of people come to Dubai thinking it's all rainbows and unicorns, and like it's a different. I love Dubai.
Yeah, I love Dubai. As well.
It's the best, and thank
must
you
disclose
for
that.
creating this place and creating this atmosphere, because this is probably the only place where I feel really physically safe. Like when I'm in US, for example, I need to hire either security.
You can't walk around with 6.5
No.
million.
I mean, in Dubai, I made funny videos. I was walking around with $3 million in cash. You know, it's like you don't do that normally. So that being said, I love Dubai. But in Dubai, what there is a lot of people who are after your money.
Yeah, I mean like everywhere.
Like everywhere, yeah. But it happened to me. Like it didn't happen to me anywhere else.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just my bias.
Yeah.
But I had a partner in real estate that I thought that is going to be, because real estate is booming, right? Well, what I didn't account for is, number one, that there is 15,000 registered real estate agents in Dubai, or it was a year ago. So it's a shit ton. On
Very
like
competitive.
it's pretty crazy. But and the second thing I didn't account for, is a person that can actually scam you. And what I've learned is that whenever somebody seems awfully nice, means shit. It means nothing. And we started a business. I was running all the operations and marketing and this and that. We did a lot of things together.
Were you already rich at the time or no?
No, yeah. So
Okay.
when I moved to Dubai, I was already doing everything I'm doing now. But at smaller scale, like my biggest growth came probably in the last 2 years in the bear market. Like we exploded on social media, and the biggest assets under management in Karlows capital and everything. So actually in the bear market, we exploded in the bear market. But before then, I also had some money because I started trading about 10 years ago. So I wasn't making millions and millions as a retail trader, because it's very, very complicated, but I made a few mil. So, and that's, when I realized I need to move to Dubai and start diversifying and building
real estate,
companies.
okay.
And yeah, so real estate made sense. So, and when I got into it, I had a partner who, it's a crazy story that you can actually make a movie out of this story. And the movie goes as follows. This guy, once we built the whole company, we had a nice office, we had 12 agents, which is not big, but it was generating revenue. So it was doing well. We had good social media, YouTube. I created everything because I kind of understand marketing. And this moment was when, that was when he realized that he doesn't need me anymore. That he manages all the agents, all the listings. He might as well fuck Tommy and get everything for himself. And that's what he tried to do, but in such a fashion, Ahmed, I couldn't believe what I saw. I was like, no way. Like, people came forward with this, and I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding. It's impossible. So what he was doing, he would pull separate agents separately in, like, having a chat with them. Like
in batches.
Like sometimes in batches, sometimes individually. And he would tell them that I said bad things about them, that you're too thin, you're too fat, you're too stupid, literally, like these kinds of ridiculous things. So he would program them against me, and he was saying, but Thomas is going to be gone soon, don't worry, I'm going to overtake the company. And what he made them do is close deals outside of the company to lower the valuation of the company to buy me out. And this stupid idiot did not expect someone to come forward with this
and tell you.
Like, how intellectually incapable are you, honestly? And the moment I realized, because the first person came forward, I was like, nah, it cannot be. Then I came
The first was the employee.
Yes, an employee who left, because actually out of 12 people at the time when everything crumbled, we had 5 left. So 7 people left. And then I realized that 7 of those people, all of them, left because of him trying to ask them to close, to commit fraud.
Yeah.
Because in Dubai, when there is a deal on the table, and you close it outside of the company to cheat your partner out, it's a fraud.
Yeah.
So, and he was asking others to commit fraud for him for extra 2-3 whatever freaking percent of the commission. It's insane. It's like delusional. And people came forward with this, and then I was like, no way. I called him. I'm like, is this true? Like, it was almost funny. Like, I was angry beyond belief because I felt betrayed. It wasn't about I lost money in the company because we had money. It was generating cash flow, but we invested money into it, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, why?
Yeah, you trusted the guy.
Why? And because we could have built a billion-dollar
Big business,
company.
yeah. He was thinking so short term.
Yeah, like so short-sighted. But you know what I learned from this whole thing? Never do business with a brokey. Ever. If the guy who comes forward and he says, we're going to do something big, are you big enough for that? Like, if you're not, go build yourself up and then come to me. It might sound cliche, it might sound like whatever, but I'll be honest. If a person comes and says, let's make $1 billion, but he's worth $3, I'm not in business with him. He can be my employee. He can build himself up and show his character, but he's not going to be my partner.
Yeah.
And that was my big mistake. But yeah, that was the story in Dubai.
And then, like, did you end up losing a lot of money from that?
$150.
$150,000?
Yeah. So not big deal. It's still money.
Yeah.
I rather would have gotten myself another Ademar Piguet, than a shit experience in 6 months of my time. The worst thing about the whole thing, time. It's all time. Because we can make money. Like, money is, this high frequency energy. We can get it. We can generate it. If we're not stupid and not lazy and too egoistic, we can create it. Like, it's not that difficult. But time, for now, we cannot get back. So it is the most valuable asset out there. So yeah, that was it. What was the second one?
So the second one was about the driving under the influence.
Oh man, that was, for all the viewers, full viewer discretion is advised, and this behavior is strictly unadvisable. But since when I grew up in the States, I was always prone to addiction. It was my huge weakness. Maybe it had something to do with my childhood, that I had this escape mechanism to escape into a different realm where I didn't give a shit. So, and recently, in the recent years, I learned to deal with it in a different way, which we can expand on if you'd like. But initially, I smoked cigarettes since I was 15. Since I left to US,
Wow.
I started smoking a pack a day, like
Wow.
Marlboro Gold. I could smoke like a chimney, like even indoors, like this kid smoking, like it's crazy. And I smoked until I quit smoking last year. So I haven't had a cigarette for a year and a half, which was the most difficult thing. It was easier to quit drinking than smoking. But I guess because you smoke manually all the time, So, but now I can say that I'm the cleanest crypto G out there, because
you have no vices.
I no vices.
Zero vices.
Nada. Null. Nothing.
I asked him if he wanted a cup of coffee before the podcast, but he said no, he doesn't drink caffeine.
I don't do caffeine.
No caffeine, no drugs.
One wife.
One
no
wife. Wow, it's like living like
the monk.
Gym every day. Yeah, you're basically a monk. You even have the hairstyle.
Yeah, right.
Gym every day. Basically he's really clean his life around. No alcohol whatsoever.
7 years.
7 years. What else? No fun, no pleasure, no.
Yeah. No, it's actually.
What about healthy food? Like only healthy foods.
Only I eat super clean. I eat so clean. I actually hired a lot of money I spent is on self-development, on different coaches. Like recently, Rick William, a really good guy in Puerto Rico. I worked on a distance with him. It's like 1 year with him is $75,000.
Wow.
One coach.
Wow.
Then I was also working with Shred in Dubai as a fitness coach, and that was like a small partnership, $30,000.
Wow.
So 1 year, 100K on just your shrink and your fitness coach, 100K a year, which is not much.
Is it a shrink, like an actual shrink, like a therapist?
No, I call them a shrinks, but no, it's like a life coach, NLP, neurological programming, and like deep mindset work, spirituality. I don't believe in shrinks. I think they're all just too bureaucratic, and they're interested to give you, antidepressants, which is a waste of it's garbage. So like all the problems are deep. Yeah, all the problems are deep inside. And they either come from childhood, they either come from your some kind of genetical stuff or upbringing, and all of that, even if you don't realize, it's all inside. I've been through this. Like I got over so many things by working with professionals. So, but anyway, when I also made a bit of money, I had this, hero concept that motherfucker, I'm like 23, 24 when I made my first mill. And I was like, I own this place. I own the world. And that led me to excessive drinking to the point where I'd be just blacking out every night. I wouldn't have a drink. I would literally drink until I'd fall. And sometimes my mind would keep going, like my body would keep going while my mind is off. So it was pretty bad. So and one day I woke up realizing that my car, it was an AMG Mercedes, my first cool car, it was a CL63.
Wow.
It was a pretty cool car in Latvia. And it was impound lot. And I was arrested that night. And I actually have this recording somewhere, but it's somewhere deep,
hidden,
far away. Yeah, where I was running away from the police.
Wow.
There was actually a car chase. And the craziest and the worst thing about it, I don't remember it. I remember bits and pieces. I remember being in the police car trying to give them like a bribe or something. It was stupid crazy. And am I proud of it? No. Should anybody do it? No. But it's part of my history, and I just accept for who I am because I'm not a different person today. I'm just a sober version of myself. So, and I'm very happy and that the universe has protected me and other people from death.
So what happened? Like, did you end up going to jail, or what was the story?
So it was court. I was sentenced to jail time and also some financial fine, and my driver's license was taken away for 5 years.
Wow. And you went to jail?
No.
You just dipped?
No, because I understood the law. I had a lawyer up, Call Saul. So I had my old Saul Goodman.
Better call Saul.
So, and basically what ended up happening is that in Latvia, by the, whatever law is, with this particular level of crime, whatever, if they don't catch you within 2 years and put you in jail, that you're supposed to serve the jail term, it's it goes away. So, and it's not like I was trying to skip it. Actually, I packed a bag. And this was the time I was trying to quit smoking, because I was trying to quit smoking all the time. I went to jail. I'm like, because you cannot smoke in jail. So in that particular one, because it was not jail. It was like an pre-prison jail. So it's like isolated, something like holding cell. Yeah. So, and they don't allow you smoking there. So I was like, okay, I'm going to just show up with a bag. I actually researched what I can take with me. It was like a cup, toothbrush, and a few things. I showed up and I said, I surrender.
Wow.
And they said, you cannot surrender without a paper from a police or something.
Okay.
I didn't have it. Police didn't pick up the phone. So I was like, fuck you then. And I never went. And they never looked for me. And it just went away.
No way.
It just went away.
You got basically lucky though.
Yes.
Very lucky.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your whole life would be different.
Well, not really. I mean,
if you went to jail, you it should be you lose a year and a half. You'd be.
It wasn't that bad. Like the jail sentence was like a month. It was small. Okay. It was because they don't put you in jail.
Anyway, it's not like you hit anyone or.
No. If I would have, that would have been serious shit. That would have been criminal. So it was criminal, but it wasn't that bad. So yeah. So, but and that was the moment actually after about a year. That was my rock bottom. Even though I made money, I had money, but it was social, spiritual, and almost physical because I wasn't fit. I was fat as shit. It was rock bottom. I had money, but it was some money on the rock bottom. So, and this was the moment I realized that I'm either gonna die, or I'm gonna go to prison, or I'm gonna just kill someone. So, and that was when I quit drinking, which was when I was 23, 24, 23.
Interesting.
Like
Damn, bro, that's really an interesting story, and I'm impressed that at least okay, I definitely think drinking driving is bad, and everything, but I think that it's good that you had an event like that happen, where it led you to stop drinking,
Yeah.
So sometimes one of these events happens and then you realize okay, look, but hopefully people quit before that actually ends up happening.
Yeah, you shouldn't push it too far.
Yeah, but it's at least you ended up quitting and now you live a life of no vices. I want to ask you actually before we move on to the last part about the last question, which was about the mom. You mentioned now already that you're married and you spoke about it. You got married at a young age, and you're 29 right now. You say you don't sleep around. I want to talk about that. Nowadays, it's a huge trend of young people, you're young, you're 29. You got married young, very young.
Yes.
What age were you got married?
we were together. We were together for about 7 years now. We've been married for 4 years. So when I was 25.
25, yeah. So 25 years old is like relatively, like for me, I want to get married at like 23. But I know a lot of people say that like 25 is like so young. If you tell someone 25, like I'm thinking in Europe and stuff, they get married at 35, you know, like something like that.
Yeah. The age doesn't matter really.
Yeah. No, but I want to ask you because I think it's good to get married young. And I think like the whole like thing about sleeping with like a bunch of women, and it's a bit of degeneracy, you know, they act like it's some alpha thing to do. But I really don't see any benefit in terms of like productivity, or if anything, it's like a job, you know, when you're handling multiple women and stuff. So what do you think about all that? Why did you decide to get married young? And you have so much money, why don't you have like 5 girls and make all of them exclusive to you, but you don't be exclusive to them?
See, two things to it. For one, I was never good with women, nor was I interested in it. Like, I'm straight, and obviously because I have a wife and stuff. But I've never been interested in like conquering girls. I've never had this ego problem. No, I'm not saying that's number one. But number two, what I wanted to mention is that, and there is also number three, which is most important. I just wanted to be clear that there is no right and wrong. If whatever makes you happy, that is that something that you should pursue. If it makes you happy to be that alpha guy who has chicks all over the place, fine. Well, you shouldn't listen to anyone. You should do that's what I've learned throughout my years as well. Whatever makes you happy is your life. And giving up on your life is just stupid. So if it makes you happy, just do it. But for me, what makes more sense, because when you have a bunch of girls and you just have sex and you have all this, you know, energy going out and stuff, you're releasing energy. You know, you're kind of letting it go. But when you have that one person who is truly your soulmate, who is your backbone, who really is your support in every sense of the word, this is everything. There are some people who, by their character, they don't need it. They're just not like this. They're lone wolves. You know, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But I was always a person that I was never a party guy, like with a bunch of friends. In my life, I literally have 2 friends. Everybody, 2 friends. Because I value and cherish the word friend. These days, the word friend is going around like a prostitute. For me, a word friend is more than just, hi, Johnny, how is it going? It's not a friend, it's an acquaintance. So for me, for one, I never had many friends, and therefore I couldn't have many relationships. It's all about a real relationship. It cannot be many of it, a lot of it. You know?
I feel like whenever you have like another partner, even if your wife may say she may be okay with it, like apparently some people claim that their partners don't mind. I think the relationship is just, it subconsciously takes a hit, you know? I don't think it could ever be the same when you start, like, especially if she knows that you're with someone else, you know? And I think she will find out eventually.
Of course.
You know
it's like you have to be
can't be the same.
You have to be a CIA agent level of secretive to be able to hide it forever. Yeah. And people just start making mistakes even.
And also the hiding it becomes like a habit where like you live your life, like you start enjoying that thrill. Yeah. It's like some people, when they start stealing, maybe it's out of necessity, but then even after they start making money, they still want to steal because they enjoy that thrill. So you don't want it to become a habit like where you enjoy like hiding and sneaking around.
It's like, I don't know, I've never liked it. For me, I've always been interested in building something of quality. It could be in business, it could be my own six-pack, you know, getting abs and being fit, or it could be just being clear-minded and spiritually awakened and just feeling fucking good, you know? And the same thing for a relationship. When you have a wife that you really are so much in connection with that you trust her 100%. I can trust her with all millions that I have. She will not do anything with them. She will, if I tell her, take this fob, like whatever, you know, this ledger, take 3 planes, fly to US, then fly to Colombia, then fly to Chile, whatever, and deliver it to Jose Alejandro, she will do it. And she will not even ask me a question. Nice, you know, this is the type of a relationship that I call a relationship. And she knows that I'm not going to make her, you know, do something illegal and make her go to jail or something, you know. So this is the level, you know. So when you come home, you actually come home. Because you're home.
You're grounded.
Yes. Your home is not just the walls. It's who is in the home. This is the definition of home. So for me, when I'm with my wife, this is the best time. I feel that I am not alone. I feel like she is my... You know, like this yin and yang, this like she really completes me. And you know, the way how she understands me and how she supports me, I mean, I could have been successful maybe without her, but I attribute a lot of my success to her, not because she gave me money to work with or whatever, but the way she spoke to me, the way she supported me, and the way how she believed in me. My mother didn't believe in me as much as she did, you know? Well, probably did, but this is the real relationship, and it goes beyond booty, tits, and sex, and which is also important for some people. But I think that this emotional and relationship on a level of vibration and energy is everything, and you cannot get this gold by being a YOLO who just fucks around every day. It's impossible. It doesn't connect. It's impossible. Mm-hmm. So I choose the gold.
Interesting, man. That was deep, bro. Makes you feel like you should makes anyone watching this feel like they should start settling down and find that person for them. You know.
They just should explore. They should explore what makes them happy.
How did you meet her?
Oh man, it was funny. It was in Latvia. It was in a shittiest pool bar, like where you play pool. I used to play pool. It was sometimes I'd go to this really weird place with a really bunch of weird people, and she came there with her half brother, and he introduced me to her, and it was love from the first sight, in this shitty pool bar in Latvia.
Nice. Interesting, man, and that's really nice to hear. It's kind of cute in a way.
It is.
It's nice. It's. I think that every man should strive to have that, And when are the kids coming?
We're working. That's a big topic. We are working on it, and Ahmed, I can tell you that I've never realized that it's so difficult to make a kid.
Really?
Apparently, you need to do it in certain days of the full moon. Okay, not the full moon, but like certain days in the month.
Cycle, yeah.
It's the cycles, and then I'm surprised next time when I hear from a girl, I got pregnant by accident. What the fuck were you doing to get it done by accident?
Yeah.
It's like winning a lottery in Powerball,
Yeah.
So, but we're working on it. This is also something that I realized that beyond longevity and the things I want to do in terms of prolonging life of the human race, what I'm interested in is extension of my persona, which is having children, in case if I would not be able to prolong my own life.
Interesting. So, yeah, you can live through them, like your legacy.
Yeah.
Interesting, man. Yeah, but they say there's a funny quote, man. It's like, it's kind of relates to what you're saying. It's like, success is like being pregnant.
Yeah.
Everybody says congratulations, but nobody knows how many times you have to get fucked.
Yeah, but for the most part, you get fucked a lot. Yeah.
Interesting. So, inshallah, soon we'll see you with like a bunch of mini Thomas Kralows. I think that's the goal. How many do you want? I feel like you tell a guy who wants to have like many kids, or is that? 3, 4, or like 15?
I let go from any expectations from universe. I do all I can, and what happens, happens. Inshallah, it's gonna be amazing. All I care about.
Yeah, that's good. Nice, inshallah. But let's talk about the mom thing a bit.
Yeah.
Because that was what I was gonna ask you.
Yeah.
What's the situation with your mom, and how did your guys' relationship? How did the relationship move throughout your childhood, and how did it work?
It was tough. Because my mother, she's a brilliant woman. She did her best. I don't hold anything against her. She never did anything on purpose. But in my family tree, I've never had educated people. I'm actually the first one from my studies of my family tree to ever hold higher education, even bachelor's degree. So that being said, and especially my mother, she married young. She had me when she was 19, I think.
Wow.
So very young. And my father gave everything up to the church, donated everything to the church when I was 2. So she was 21.
But why did she leave him? I don't get it. Why did he leave her? Sorry, if he donated everything, was that part of the cult? Like he had to leave he had to leave his wife?
No, they just broke up because my father was drinking heavily. He was abusing her. He was abusing me.
Okay.
So I don't remember any of it, but yeah, there was some. Like my mother told me some of the stuff, and quite frankly, I was never interested because I don't want to have anything in the back of my mind. So I was fortunate not to have these experiences at the age when you actually understand. Yeah. So that being said, they just separated. And my mother, she had to provide for me because she was left with me and 2 big dogs that needed to eat something. And we ended up moving in with my grandmother, where I spent a lot of time as well, many, many years. And my mother was just not very present. She was always trying to provide and make money and odd jobs and here and there. And when I was a teenager, we had many altercations in terms of very different, strange, like I had like not to get too deep into it, but it would be a separate podcast. I had different, like not mental illnesses, but I had strange behavior. Sometimes I had ADHD and stuff. And my mother, just to put it in simple, plain layman terms, I would express those concerns to my mother, but she would not take them serious, which led to bigger problems for me that I became very isolated from her, which, and she didn't do it on purpose. She just thought it wasn't unimportant. She just thought, it's just a kid saying things. And she still, and in some way, believes this until this day. She didn't know what kind of pain I went through. And this pain was for many years. Like I struggled with different psychological things for a long time where I felt very bad. Like I wouldn't ever wish on my worst enemy to feel those things. And the worst part of it was that I felt no support in any, like I felt alone in it. It was pretty hard. And then this, though, I'm thankful to it because there are different types of people. There are people who take shit from life and complain about it and cry about it. And then there are people who take shit from life and they learn something from it. And they're like, okay, what did this teach me? This is what I learned because I've lost a lot of money in my life. I made millions, I lost millions. Sometimes in trading, sometimes overall in business ventures, including the real estate company. So you cannot just get out of your mother's womb and become a billionaire out of thin air. You need, besides the conditions for making something, you need experience and knowledge. And you cannot get experience and knowledge unless you have mentors and your own experience. So that's why when I had this issue with my mother, to avoid certain altercations with my mom, I needed to avoid her. Like I'm just putting it in very simple layman terms because I don't want to go into too much detail with this because some people might misunderstand what I'm talking about. So when I had to find ways to avoid my mother, I had to be very ingenious. I had to be a strategist in the house to avoid certain things, which would trigger me like crazy and I could just scream, have like nervous breakdowns and stuff. So this was very painful emotionally, like I remember that pain. But it taught me to find solutions. It taught me to see things for on face value, what it is, and see okay, I'm in this situation. What am I gonna walk out the fucking window? What am I gonna do? So I might as well find a solution. Suicide or whatever is not a solution. So what am I gonna do? Am I gonna just cry about it and just dig myself a deeper grave? Or am I gonna find a solution and somehow get out of the situation? And I did. For many, many years, I found it didn't always work, but it did most of the time. And I learned one most important skill in life, and that is problem solving. If you cannot solve problems and problem solving and being stress resistant. That's in business. A lot of people quit and fail and lose money in trading, business, whatever it is, relationship, because they are not in touch with the real. So they don't even have any kind of beyond patience. They don't have any, resilience and stress tolerance. Yeah, because like right now, when I employ more than 100 people, like sometimes I want to shoot them, all of them, to commit mass murder and shoot myself because the level of stupidity among humans, unfortunately, sometimes is bewildering. So if it wasn't for these conditions with my mother, where I'm like, I'm able to step back. I'm able to almost step out of my body and look from the side without bias, without any stereotypes.
Objectively.
Yes, and objectively. And this is what these things taught me, and this is my childhood experience. So when I was in the States, and my mother just called me and said, listen, son, we have a problem with money. I'm like, okay, understood. And I just sat there for weeks. And I remember just thinking, okay, what?
How am I going to do it?
I need to do something. Of course, first things that come to mind is like some criminal activity, but I never did anything criminal in my life, thankfully. So I always found, okay, last resort. Let's do something for now that is legal. Like if I don't find anything, then what can I do? But thankfully, I always found a solution. So it's like, yeah, and it's like in business and in trading, a lot of people come to trading. They think that, it's like, I'm going to just trade with this simple strategy with head and shoulders pattern and then make money. No, it's far more complicated than that. There are many more instruments you need to use. again, you can use simple strategy and just buy the dip whenever you feel like you believe in the asset, and you just buy whenever it's scary. You will make money. But if you have 10,000, it will take you 5 fucking lifetimes to make any money out of those 10,000 with this simple strategy. So you need to be ingenious. You need to focus on what is at hand, and it's in everything: relationships, business, whatever. So yeah, but that was a very painful experience, which is beautiful in its own way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. I know it's personal, it's not easy for someone to come on a podcast and start sharing their personal experiences, especially with their family. So I appreciate it, because there's a lesson in it for anyone watching,
Yeah.
I want to end the podcast with the last question by saying, what's your take on the following: meditation, visualization, law of attraction, affirmations, journaling, etc.?
I think that law of attraction, in the sense how it's portrayed by Instagram gurus, is complete bullshit. It's like full on scam. So like, law of attraction is a scam. See Thomas Kralow. It's like, yeah. But
we're gonna clip that.
But just to give some context to this thought, is that when you imagine, because I do a lot of affirmations, I do a lot of meditations, I do a lot of visualizations, but not for the purpose of me sitting on a couch and thinking, okay, if I'm going to be visualizing in the lotus pose, what $1 billion feels
that
like.
seating position, yeah.
It's not gonna, that's what people are saying, like, where this money is gonna, fall from the sky. The thing is that, is it helpful, like affirmations and meditations? Yes. Is it gonna change your life? Yes. But it's no magic. Like, people say it's magic. Like, same thing, very simple example, I always bring it up. The red car experiment.
The bias.
If you focus on a red car, and we keep talking about the red car, you will go out into the city, you're gonna see a lot of red cars. But you're gonna see them just simply because you're focusing on them, not because there is more of red cars. But it's gonna seem like there is more, so it's gonna seem like magic. So in reality, when you're just every day, in terms of visualization, you're visualizing you being successful, fit, whatever. You just are programming your brain to start at least remotely believe that you can possibly achieve it.
And looking for opportunities.
And it starts to look for opportunities. So, and that's how it is. That's why, and when you understand it in this way, you start to use it correctly, and then it starts to work better. Because sometimes, you meditate, you shouldn't push yourself to do anything. If you don't feel like doing it, like, this is something I don't like. I have huge respect for Andrew Tate, but I don't agree with some of his approaches. Because he is very, very masculine, you need to be able to knock out a fucking cow with your leg or something. It's all cool, it's fun on camera, it's good marketing, but in reality, it doesn't fit probably 80% of humans out there, simply because some people are just not built to knock out fucking cows with their legs, whatever. So what I believe in, even though I agree with him that you have to be strong, you have to get rich now, and all this matrix stuff, 90% of what Tate is saying is genius, it's true, it's just a fact. But overall, what I think is also more important, what he doesn't understand or doesn't talk about, is happiness. He says, you need to suffer. Why? Do I suffer every day? I suffered before because I thought it was normal to suffer. But once I accepted through meditation, through spiritual work, that you can actually be rich, powerful, you can box, you can learn how to knock out the fucking cow, but be happy in the process and not do what you don't want to do. So if it really is your calling to be one of those, as Tate says, geeks, and actually, create NFTs for a living and be one of those crypto guys, be it. If you're going to be going to the gym and building that muscle and trying to knock out people in the street and it's going to make you unhappy, what's the fucking point of it?
Yeah, and I think what you're saying makes sense, but if I was to just play the devil's advocate, I think what happens is sometimes if you just chase happiness, it can lead to a lot of degeneracy, because a lot of the things that bring us short-term happiness are things that are not good for us long-term. Yeah. And usually the things that are good for you long-term bring you short-term unhappiness. So for example, like drinking, it makes you happy short-term.
But it doesn't make you happy. It's just a chemical alteration of your mind. So we then need to define what is
sugar.
happiness.
Yeah, but sugar, these things bring pleasure, at least. Short-term,
pleasure is a bit different,
Yeah. But I think what he means is sometimes, a lot of the times, the stuff that's really good for you, for example, when you were trying to quit alcohol or when you're trying to quit drinking, those were tough, challenging things that you had to overcome, and you had to kind of willpower, you had to firm it, you just had to push through.
But the thing is that once you do, you will be happier.
Yeah.
So in this instance, you have to push yourself. You have to put your shit together and stop drinking.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm not saying that if it makes you happy to kill people, go kill people. That's not what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that you need to really understand and separate short-term pleasures and actual real happiness, and then pursue real happiness. So what I'm saying is that, if Andrew Tate portrays person who is almighty, all powerful, like he's portraying himself, for example, it doesn't mean that someone who's going to be in the same stance is going to be actually happy. Some guy might be, but some guy might be like, he doesn't feel the connection with this. So he might be more happy doing something else. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like he might enjoy like pottery or like a different kind of like horse riding or a different kind of like a sports maybe.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying that, if you don't feel like meditating and you feel like it's complete bullshit, give it a go. Sometimes you need to push yourself a bit to see if it goes with the vibe. Experiment. Because myself recently, I was pushing myself very hard all my life. And guess what? As soon as I was like, fuck this, I let go. I fired a lot of people in different projects of my team that simply didn't work. But I was pushing because I create, blah, blah. And then I was like, maybe I was even influenced by Tate for it at some point, because I did like some of his speeches, or like, all these, masculine people, the way how they deliver these masculine speeches. But then what I realized, once I let go, I focused on one goal, on one project that actually brought value, not just to me, but in my opinion, to humanity, and what we didn't disclose yet, but this is a big project that's going to be coming out. And this is when a lot of the stuff that I was doing just started working better. Why it started working? Because I had more energy, I had more interest, I had better mood in general because I had more energy. I didn't feel like a piece of shit. Because when you sleep 4 hours a day and you're trying to hustle 15 projects at once, you're going to feel like shit. And you're going to be like, oh, but this is good because I'm a man. No, it's not fucking good. You're killing yourself. So it makes no sense. That's what I'm trying to say. So do, experiment, try, don't harm anyone, but at the same time, serve your own happiness.
I understand. That makes sense. Like to a certain degree, I 100% understand where you're coming from. All right. So yeah, to summarize the thing about visualization, from what I understand, you're basically saying the visualization helps you to do the work, and the work ends up bringing the success. But people sometimes just think the visualization just brings the success.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that's interesting. But I'm gonna put this. I'm happy that you have an interesting take on it, because I've had people who are like big believers in it and they swear by it, and I think it's nice that someone brings a more interesting take as to how realistic it is and how it actually works.
Just to add a little bit to this, if we go deeper into the rabbit hole, certainly we have the understandings, of micro world, macro world, and the mega world, which is like bacteria, me and you, this room, and then the solar system and the planets and stuff. And we are all somehow intertwined. And, then there are these experiments, the Schrodinger's cat, our existence, and the everlasting debate of who we are, where we came from, and what this whole thing exists of.
Why we were created, yeah.
And if you go very deep into this quantum theory and you understand how particles actually interact, and that actually if you put all humans together and remove all the vacuum from the space in the atoms or something, all human bodies, all 8 billion would fit in a single cube of sugar, like a sugar cube, like that big, 8 billion people, actual matter. Everything else is just air. So if you understand these things, you understand it's all code, then maybe really by visualization, we actually create matter of this electronic impulses in the brain, which actually theoretically, when we're visualizing something, we theoretically, arguably could be physically creating it. And in this way, maybe somehow it really affects our real macro world where we are. But this is just a hypothesis. And until I have some proof of this, I will not ever state anything beyond what I've explained, how I see the law of attraction. But in all fairness, there is 1% chance that what these loony bins are saying is actually could be true.
Interesting, very interesting. Yeah. All right, so this is a really good chat. Before I want to end the video, I want to check how our Bitcoin investment is doing.
Oh yes, yeah.
And then we can end this video. Let's see. Reveal it. Wait. So before we reveal the figures, Thomas is looking right now. He just put in $100,000 in Bitcoin. Yeah. Before we see how that investment played off, I want to ask you: did you put any stop loss on this?
No, I didn't. No, because this is a spot position. So if it goes to 20K a Bitcoin, whatever, it's still a Bitcoin. I look more at Bitcoin as already an exit out of the financial system. So therefore, it current short-term equivalent of something
Doesn't matter.
as the dollar, I don't care about. So right now, actually, what did I tell you? It's going to be at the same. So it actually is sitting precisely at zero.
$30.
So we have $60 loss. Well, but there was a commission anyway, so it's like zero.
Yeah, $60 plus, yeah, the commission plus gas fees, whatever.
Yeah, so it didn't even move a bit, one bit. So it's like, it's basically the same.
Let
And
me show the audience.
yeah, there you go.
He's $60 down. Sorry about that, Thomas.
It's
Sorry
okay.
for your
I'll
loss.
survive it. You know, I'll pull
Will it
some
be okay?
funding from the ledger.
If you want, I'll give you a loan, bro.
We'll discuss it off camera. But anyway, yeah, we need to also remind the guys about the link they will leave in the description of the video if they want to learn about trading and the proper methods of trading.
All right, guys. So to end this video, Thomas, thank you so much for being a really good guest. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to your funny stories. I understand now why a lot of people follow you online. You know a lot about a lot of different topics, and it's very interesting. I look forward to seeing the journey. For you guys, check out Thomas in the description, where you will also find the gift which he has made specially for my viewers. This is exclusive, yeah, only for
Yeah.
my viewers.
Yeah.
Special gift, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Special gift only for our viewers. If you want to check that out, if you want to learn a bit about trading, if you don't, it's your loss, I guess. But it's up to you. Take care, guys. Have a good one. Check out Thomas. All the things will be down below. Leave a comment what you learned. I'll be reading all the comments. I wish you guys have a very good rest of the day. Any last words?
No, study Bitcoin as soon as possible.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace. See you later. Thanks for watching.